What's up guys, this is TechnicallyBad. Today I'm going to be bringing you another game grub, and today I'm going to bring you an alternative to frozen waffles in the morning, because I'm sure you probably eat a lot of those. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be loading up some French toast in a kind of a cool way. This is also a pretty good recipe if you have to make somebody breakfast in the morning. And it can be pretty impressive if you played it correctly. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some cream cheese. I'm using whipped cream cheese just because it's easier to get into the bread. You'll see that later. Some jelly or jam or whatever you want to use. I'm using, what is this? Black raspberry jelly, which I think is pretty good. You're going to need an egg, vanilla. You're going to need some milk, and you're going to need Texas toast, and that's important. If you'll see this, Texas toast is really thick, and that's important. If you have any other kind of toast or bread or whatever, I know you're going to think, well, there's just fucking bread. I can use whatever kind of bread I want. No, you can't. So just keep that in mind. If you try this with regular bread and you fuck it up, that's not my fault, because you didn't listen to me. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife. I'm using a bread knife. It's really important that these are serrated, the knife that you use, and don't do that. Don't rub your fucking finger on the knife. That was dumb. It's really important that it's serrated, because what you're going to do is you're going to come in from the side, and I like to use the opposite from the top of the loaf, just because it's really flat and easy to get into. And you're just going to see if I can do this on the first try. You're just going to push it in, and you'll kind of feel it at the end, and then you're just going to kind of work your way back and forth and go down the piece of bread, okay? And then you're going to have like a little pocket like that, okay? So let's do this on the other piece, and try and get it as centered as you can. I know it's not going to be perfect, but just try and get it as close to centered as you can. Also, if you can, try to avoid pieces that have holes in them, like that little hole. It's going to fuck you later. So just try to avoid the hole. If you can't see it, but I avoided cutting into the hole just for that reason. So again, you're going to have a little pocket like that. And then after we do that, I'm going to move that out of the way. I get a bowl and a spoon. I'm going to get some of this cream cheese, and you can see that I've actually made this before. I actually make this kind of often just because I like it. So you're going to put some cream cheese in the bowl, and this is completely, there's no like perfect ratio. This is completely up to you. Whatever you like. I'm kind of a 50-50-ish kind of guy, so if you'll see there's a decent amount of cream cheese in there. And then you're going to take your jelly, and you're going to spoon some jelly in there too. Okay, so it'll be kind of like that. And what you're going to do is just mix that all together. You can do this without mixing it together, but I find it to be a huge pain in the ass to get it into the bread. And it also doesn't mix together very well when you're cooking it, so it ends up being like you'll get a bite of all jelly, and then you'll get a bite of all cream cheese, which is not the greatest. Okay. Just try and mix this all together as best as you can. It'll kind of look like that. Well, depending on whatever jam you use, the color will be different, obviously, but then what we're going to do is we're going to stuff these. So I'll open it up, get some of the jelly or the mixture, whatever you want to fucking call it, and just kind of slide that in there. And you can load it up as much or as little as you want. It really doesn't matter. If you overstuff it, it'll just kind of run out the back when you're cooking it, which isn't a big deal. So just kind of try and force it down into the back corners of the bread, just to kind of evenly spread it. So that one's good. And then let's do the other one. Use the rest of this. Just gonna drop that in there. But yeah, like I said, if you have somebody spending the night or whatever, and you have to make them breakfast in the morning, more than likely they're just expecting like some eggs or something, like eggs and bacon or something like that. If you whip this out, oh, they're definitely coming back. So trust me, girls love this stuff. Okay. Or if you're a girl, guys will eat it too. I eat it all the time, so I guess that says something about it. Okay. So once you get that all done, you're going to want to take a container that you can fit the whole piece of bread in. And we're going to crack an egg into it. So 1 egg. Make sure you wash your hands if you crack an egg and you get a little bit on you. That's always a good idea, so you don't cross-contaminate or anything. Use a little tiny bit of vanilla because it'll go a really long way. And this is really almost not even to flavor it, but just gives it a really nice smell. So, and then also I'm gonna go grab some milk. I'm using whole milk. That's just because that's what we have. You can use any kind of milk, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to splash in some milk as well. Alright, so you're just going to beat that up. Until it's got good consistency. And then we're going to move over to the stove. Alright guys, now that I'm over at the stove and I have my pan nice and hot, if you can see that, I have it just a little bit past 6 on my stove. So you can kind of judge where that is on your stove. I have my egg mixture, I have my bread, I have a nice hot pan, and what I'm going to use is a little bit of cooking spray. I'm just going to spray that down good. And then what we're going to do is going to dip the toast on one side, and then you're going to flip it over and get it on the other side and make sure it's nice and coated well. And then just drop it right into the pan. Try and do the other one pretty quick too. If you run out of egg, you might need to use a second egg and just kind of make the same mixture. The second one is probably not going to get as covered as easily, so just keep that in mind. And you're going to put that in there. Here, let me wash my hands. You can try and watch that cook while I wash my hands. Okay, so, and these are going to go pretty fast, so you might want to just check them. Flip that over. See, that one's nice and just brown. That's perfect, right like that. So judging from how that one took and how long it took me to egg this one will be ready to flip in just a few seconds. So probably right about now. Okay. So that one's good. You might want to try and push them down a little bit. Because the mixture on the inside is going to warp the bread out, which means that it's not going to hit on all 4 corners. If you'll see right here, it didn't really get that quite as much. So now that we have this going, just take a couple more seconds, and then let's check it on the other side. That one's good. I'm going to plate them kind of on the sides that I like. You can pick whichever sides you like. If you're not trying to impress anybody, you can plate them however you want. Alright guys, so I'm kind of picky about how I like to plate things up. So I made sure all the smudges and kind of gooey shit from from the filling didn't get on the plate. You can see that from all the sides. It looks pretty decent. And then if you kind of want to douche it up a little bit more and just kind of go for extra brownie points, what you can do is I have over here, I have a little sieve with some powdered sugar in it. And I'm assuming you probably don't have one of these, because this is kind of just like a extra thing for sieving out like sauces and just doing random shit like this. So if you don't have one of these, what you can use is one of these. And this one's a little bit wider, and it probably won't work as well, but you can use it. I'm assuming you have one of these because you probably make a lot of ramen. So yeah, keep that in mind. You can use this if you're gonna do this. This is just like an extra little step, and what you just do is pick this up with the powdered sugar, and it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but you just kind of shimmy it over. Get a little bit more right there. And just like that. And that's kind of our finished product right there. If you make this for somebody and they're not expecting you to know how to cook, you're gonna blow them out of the fucking water. And if you just make this for yourself, yeah, it's gonna be pretty fucking good. While you're maybe sitting around on a Saturday playing some video games, get to enjoy some actual decent food. So yeah, that's pretty much the finished product right there. Alright guys, this has been another episode of Game Grub. If you like the video, rate, favorite, and subscribe. Other than that, that's all I really have for you today. So, as always, thank you for watching. I'm Technically Bad, and I am out of here.